All right, regular geometry students, what's going on? All right, I'm going to do the first two problems from your lesson check on the law of cosines on page 529. All right, law of cosines can be a little tricky just because there's so many computations you need to make on your hold on. Looks like Mr. Cleary is just walking in. All right. Hey, Craig, have a seat, bud. Oh, looks like Jordan just got back from the bathroom. All right. Looks like we're good to go. All right. So, like I was saying, it's just a lot of computations you have to do on your calculator. All right. So, I'm going to show you the pattern with the law of cosines formula. Okay? And the law of cosines uses a formula where all these lowercase letters represent side lengths. All right, so a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared, very similar to the Pythagorean theorem there. And then minus 2bc times the cosine of angle A. Notice, this side is on the far left, matches up with the angle on the far right. That always has to happen. So, whatever the side length, if we're searching for a side length, that's going to go here. If we're searching for the angle, it's going to go here. And these are opposite angle and sides in a triangle. And then you fill in the rest with the other two side lengths. And I'm going to show you two different ways, all right? Because students will sometimes ask, oh, how do I know if I'm using law of sines or the law of cosines? Well, if you read through your book, if the triangle that is given is SAS format, side, angle, side, or side, 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 then you use law of cosines. Any other triangle, you would use law of sines. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. And the first problem that we're given, number one, is going to be SAS, and I'll show you. They say triangle ABC. So I'm just going to draw some arbitrary triangle. I'm going to label it A, B, C. Notice I'm using capital letters. All right. And the lowercase letters would always be opposite. So this would be lowercase c over here. Opposite A, this would be lowercase a right here. Lowercase b would go here, all right? And they tell us segment AB is 7. So that's 7. And they tell us that BC is 10. Now, in order to be side angle side, they better give us this angle B. And look at that. They give us angle B is 80 degrees. And they want us to solve what is the length of lowercase b, which is right here. There's lowercase b. So, because we're searching for lowercase b, all right, lowercase b has to go first. B squared is equal to a squared plus c squared minus 2ac, and the cosine has to match up with this letter of angle B. All right, so b squared, we don't know what it is. A squared, all right, a squared is 100 or 10 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 10 times 7, cosine of 80 degrees. Now, this was all the geometry of the problem. That's it. Notice, the rest of this can all be done on your calculator. All right? So I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do it one step at a time because the calculator doesn't know order of operations. You need to do things appropriately, especially with certain students. I think Teichner had a different kind of calculator. So he's got to be very careful when he does this problem. Just do it one step at a time. Yeah, it's going to take you a little bit longer, but who cares? Everybody's looking to get good grades here. This is how you get good grades. So 10 squared is 100. 7 squared is 49. All right. I always bring the minus sign down. So when I multiply this out, I do 2 times 10 times 7 is equal to 140. Just keep bringing the minus sign down. Don't bring the minus sign into play until you absolutely have to. All right? And then cosine of 80. Okay? Now I'm going to do another step. 100 plus 49 is 149. Once again, I bring that minus sign down. 140 cosine of 80. Now, this is where students make the mistake. All right? This is where students make their mistake. They like to do 149 minus 140. Do not do that. You cannot subtract these two numbers. Now you're asking why not? Because there is a cosine of 80 connected to this 140 by multiplication. It's almost like saying, oh, hey, 3 plus 4x. You cannot add the 3 and the 4 because of this x, all right? So what I need to do is find out what is the equivalent of 140 cosine of 80. So I type 140 cosine of 80. Close that parenthesis. So I now have 149 minus, once again, I'm bringing the minus sign down, 24.3. So my next step, what is 149 minus 24.3? 124.7. And then your last step, take the square root. So the square root of the answer, 11.2. All right? So that's your answer. Now, that was side angle side. So now we have to do side, side, side. All right? So the side, side, side problem is going to be number 2. Once again, they tell us triangle QRS. I draw just a random triangle, QRS. All right? They tell me that QR is 31.9. Of course, they're giving us decimal points. RS is 25.2. And QS is 37.6. They gave us side, side, side. This is a side, side, side problem. We know all of the sides. So right away, we should say we're using law of cosines. All right, sorry about that. They want us to round to the nearest tenth. What is the measure of angle R? That we need to know this angle. All right, and actually I'm going to call it capital R degrees. Now, remember, from up here, the first and the last need to match. So if we're searching for angle R, I'm going to come way at the end and I'm just going to write cosine of R. Now, what has to go all the way to the left? Like up here, we had the b squared. We were searching for b squared, so I needed the b to match. So the 80 degrees and then side length of b. So here, if we're searching for r, what's opposite r? 37.6 squared. And this is equal to, you fill in the other two side lengths. So 31.9 squared plus 25.2 squared minus 2 times 31.9 and 25.2. It got a little tight there. All right, but that should all be in front of the cosine of r. Once again, that is the all of the geometry. So I'm going to go to my calculator again. I'm just going to start doing this one step at a time. 37.6 squared is 1413.76. You can see how this is going to get messy. 31.9 squared is 1017.61 plus 25.2 squared is 635.04. Now I'm going to bring that minus sign down and then do 2 times 31.9 times 25.2 is equal to 1607.76 cosine of r. Okay? A lot of big numbers there. So let's just start getting this going. So the 1413.76, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to add these two numbers together. 1017.61 plus 635.04 equals 1652.65 minus, bring the minus down, 1607.76 cosine of r. Now, I need to isolate this cosine of r because remember, I cannot subtract these two numbers. So what I'm going to do is subtract 1652.65 on both sides of 52.65 to both sides of my equation. So that cancels there. So I have 1413.76 minus 1652.65. I get a negative 238.89 is equal to, I still have a negative, remember the minus stays there, 1607.76 cosine of r. Now I need to divide by negative 1607.76 on both sides. These cancel. So on the right-hand side, I'm just left with a cosine of r. And on this side, I do negative 238.89 divided by negative 1607.76. I get 0.1485. Now remember, from our trig, if you don't know the angle, you have to use inverse cosine of 0.1485. That will be equal to angle R. So I'm going to type that into my calculator. Inverse cosine of 0.1485. Make sure your calculators are in degree mode. Enter. I got 81.5. So angle R is equal to 81.5. Hopefully this helps. All right. Just keep watching this video. These are the two types of problems you'll see. All right. Side angle side right there, where your last step is always going to be taking the square root. And then you have side, 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 where your last step is always going to be inverse cosine. All right. Everybody have a great day. See you later.